Business music finance.
If you trying to win.
What did Walter Cronkite do, or what was his impact on your career?
Well, I would just say the way he delivered the news, that's been the blueprint. Him and Edward R. Murrow, those guys, a long time.
Ed was fire.
Those guys basically laid down the blueprint of, okay, this is how you deliver the news. This is what you do. This is how you say it. Like, we don't do the thing, Walter Cronkite would say, whenever he would give like a slight bit of his own perspective into a story, he would say, this reporter thinks blah, blah, blah. Or from what this reporter can see, blah, blah, blah. We don't really say it like that, but the way but people were doing that for a long time. And like, just the man, his mannerisms, everything. Everybody, followed from him after then. Dan Rather, it was Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw, Diane Sawyer, Barbara Walters. All of them kind of come from the school like that to learn directly from him and Murrow's example.
Yeah.
And I think because of those two guys, we all do things the same way they do, or try to do things the same way. Still to this day, I think that's the impact right there.
I think Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, the way that they spoke,
was
similar. It was very slow, concise, would give you an analogy that you could understand. And when they would explain things, and I'm on this Reddit forum, they would explain things as if you were a 5-year-old.
That's big fact.
But it still wouldn't put you down.
Big facts. The biggest thing, one of the things I learned early, when I was going through, and learning how to do this, in school was, the majority of people who watch the news, quite frankly, they have a lower grade reading level. I can't remember the exact, I'm just going to say 6th grade reading level for now.
Six.
But it's something like that,
6
right?
not.
The 6.
6.
But like, so you have to think of like, okay, how do I turn this complicated story into something that a 6th grader can go, oh, okay, I know exactly what happened now.
And not only translate it, but make sure they're not misconstruing your words, because then you don't want to say something wrong, and then you're playing telephone, and then all of a sudden 4 people down, it's a totally different thing than what you said, and then it comes out that you said something. It's like, no, that's not what I said, and now you have to backtrack because you made it such a high level thing.
Yeah.
I think that's something that Ron Burgundy kind of showed me if you ever watched the movie.
Love that movie, by the way. But it's all about being conversational. That's something that gets drilled in our heads. You have to be conversational when you deliver a story because people will digest it much easier.
Facts. And so with that said, we're wrapping up, but we did talk about voting, and you felt very strongly about the subject. So I just want you, for me and for the viewers watching, someone who knows a lot about his industry, why is voting important to you?
Well, I would say whether you're a journalist or not, I think voting, is important to me because obviously this is the way this country runs. It's a democracy. You know what I mean? Whether our opinions, on how we execute that, democracy, for sure. Like we can have opinions for days on that. And it's not great, but at the end of the day, the process is supposed to be democratic. And I think that it's important to participate in that process. But what I will say is, as important as it is to vote, I won't shade someone who doesn't vote. I just say I wish you would. I really wish you would. And the big thing is vote in these local elections, man. I was talking about local news, and that's the one thing about, the national networks. They can do and, say what they want, cover things the way they want. But the local stations, no one knows a local community like a local reporter. And that's who I wish people would turn to first rather than going to some national stuff. Go to the people who are on the ground in the community first. And it's the same when it comes to voting. Get involved in the local elections. Get involved in, figuring out, okay, who's going to be the attorney general? Who's going to be the chief of police? Who's going to be, you obviously your city council members, like, just learn, as much as you can that I don't know everything about here. I educate myself as much as I can, but that is the most important thing. Vote in the local elections, because those people, if you get the people in the office that you want then when they go on to do other things, they're going to stick to those principles more than likely that, they ran on initially, because those are the people who are capable, qualified, and who have the morality to do the things they said they were going to do when they were just running for city council. Now they might be a congressman, and they're going to be doing those same things as a congressman or woman as they were as a city council member. And so that's why I say, when people think voting, they just think of the president and that's it. No, you got to think of everybody. And locally, the way you get these people that you don't like out the paint is by getting people opposite of them, established in local positions, because then as they rise, then they can knock some of those other folks off, especially when it comes to becoming the mayor or the governor and a congressman, a senator. You know what I mean? A state senator can become a national senator, right? So that's the thing. You just gotta,
vote in the beginning and then vote right.